Before we jump into today's NBA mock draft, I want to make sure you are subscribed to us here at Chat Sports. Well, why? We put out multiple videos on a daily basis, not even just on the NBA, NFL, college football, we have you covered. But when it comes to the NBA, we are the #1 place on YouTube for NBA draft coverage. Yours truly will lead that charge alongside of plenty of other people here at Chat Sports. And we are also the #1 place for free agency content. We will update you on the latest rumors and news in the NBA. So make sure you hit that sub button and let's get into today's video. It is mock draft time. March is just around the corner, which means, well, March Madness is almost here, but also we are starting to see the prospects take form and take shape for the NBA draft coming in late June. ESPN dropped their latest mock draft. It's time for us to react to it and give our opinion, and we'll jump right into it right now. The Wizards, well, they had the #1 pick in this mock draft, and they go with Zaccharie, Risacher, the forward from France. This dude's an absolute freak, and this draft class is very interesting. I don't know if it's the top-heavy draft class, but it certainly is deep in my own opinion. I like what Risacher can bring to the table. He's very long, he's athletic, he's lengthy. My question is, how will these guys translate? Very young prospect, only 18 years old. Wonder what Bourg, or the Bourg native, can bring to the Washington Wizards. Moving on, a freak, another one from France. It's unbelievable. They all come from here nowadays. Alex Sarr, the forward/center who plays for the Perth Wildcats. He's also a young prospect at 18 years old. If I had to place money on who the #1 pick is right now, I would actually go with Sarr. He is athletic. He can defend the rim at an elite level. He showcased some ability to hit some jumpers from beyond the arc as well. I'm a big fan of Alex Sarr, and a pick and roll between him and Cade Cunningham alongside Jalen Duren could be very dynamic for the Detroit Pistons. Our first collegiate player coming in at #3, Rob Dillingham, the guard from Kentucky. He is a flat-out scorer. I don't know if I would take him in the top 5. That feels a little rich for me, but Dillingham can fill up the stat sheet. He's a volume scorer coming off the bench for Kentucky alongside Reed Sheppard. I am a fan of his game, and I don't know if he's worthy of a top 3 pick, though. The Spurs certainly do need guard help to pair up with Victor Wembanyama and Devin Vassell. Maybe Dillingham can be that guy, but I feel like there's some other guards, Nikola, who could better fit that Spurs system. Matas Buzelis, a G League guy, a forward. You might have saw him this past weekend at the All-Star game when he was playing in that Rising Stars game Friday evening. He hit that game winner on the head of Brandon Miller, I actually believe. And he's joining Brandon Miller in Charlotte in this mock draft. I'm a big fan of Matas Buzelis. He showcases a lot of ability in terms of finishing around the rim, playmaking. The one thing that he lacks, at least currently, is his ability to shoot from deep, shooting just 23% from beyond the arc right now for the G League Ignite team. If he's able to figure out his jump shot, he's got all the tools, all the size, and all the athleticism to truly be a playmaker and a difference maker in the NBA. I'm a big fan of his game. I would have him as my #2 prospect right now, personally, behind Alex Sarr. But what say you? Who should be the #1 pick in the NBA draft if it was held today? I know it's tough to go out there and pick a name right now, but drop one for me down in the comment section. Let's move over to Portland Trailblazers picking Cody Williams, the forward from Colorado, at #5. The younger brother of Jalen Williams, the star second-year man out of Santa Clara for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Williams is lengthy. His jump shot takes a while to get out of his hands, but he's got the athleticism to defend, to finish. If he could get a more consistent jump shot like his brother has developed, well, you could see another Williams dominating the NBA. I mentioned him just a second ago. Nikola. Yes, another Nikola. He is a true point guard at its finest. What does that even mean? Who knows? But all I know is Topic is that. 6'6", 6'7", so he's got length. He comes from that line of thinking overseas that Luka Doncic showcases and others as well, is where size does not matter. Athleticism does not matter. He can handle the rock. He can get into the offense. He can work the pick and rolls. He knows how to navigate through screens, navigate through tough spaces, find open mans, also looking for his shot as well. A very young prospect, the youngest that we've talked about thus far, young side of 18. I'm a big fan of Topic's game. I'd prefer him to go to San Antonio. Him and Wemby would be nasty, but Toronto, they're getting a good one here in this mock draft. Jacoby Walter will head back to the collegiate scene, the freshman guard for the Baylor Bears. He is lengthy. He can light it up from beyond the arc. I'm a fan of his catch and shoot ability, and this might have been a bad year for Memphis, but in the future of things, well, it might work out for them. If they're able to pair up Walter alongside Desmond Bane and John Morant, you're looking at a very, very good 1-2-3 punch alongside the front court mate of Jaren Jackson Jr. Over to the Houston Rockets and Tijani Saloon, another guy from overseas that's lengthy. He plays for Cholet, power forward, 18 years old as well. These guys from overseas, man, they're just producing more and more talent on a daily basis. And, well, we've had 8 picks, and we've seen more people overseas and in G League than we've seen in college. Saloon provides a lot of athleticism in that forward spot. Look for him to go early in the NBA draft. One of my favorite picks here, Kyle Filipowski, a forward/center for the Duke Blue Devils, finding his way to the Oklahoma City Thunder in this mock draft. Put him next to Chet Holmgren. You have 2 lengthy forwards that can space the floor, that can protect the rim, that can handle it if need be. I am a big fan of Filipowski's game. I like him going in the top 10. This is probably the highest we might have seen him, at least this early in the draft process. I'd have Filipowski as a top 10 pick if I was putting together a mock draft. Go to someone who is projected to be the number 1 pick before the year even started in college basketball. Ron Holland, a forward in the G League. He's been shut down, unfortunately, due to injury, but Holland is a very talented, athletic wing. Once again, like his teammate in the G League Ignite, Matas Buzelis, really struggling beyond the arc, shooting sub 25% from 3, but Holland has the athleticism, the length, the wingspan, the ability to finish at the rim that will excite a lot of people in the NBA circles. Yes, the Thunder somehow have another pick in the lottery. That is what Sam Presti did, masterclass. And they're taking Donovan Clingan. And I like these 2 picks if you package them together, Filipowski and Clingan. Because one thing the Thunder lack is maybe depth at the front court position alongside Chet Holmgren, who could play with him, but also back him up. You get Filipowski and Clingan, who can be sure, steady backup bigs, but also space the floor next to Chet Holmgren. Imagine a Clingan Holmgren front court defensively, by the way. You're not taking a step inside the paint and finishing when you have a 7'4 or 7'2 guy with massive wingspans. Whew. That is tough to think about, Clingan finding a way to the Thunder. The Bulls at number 12, taking the guard from Kentucky, Reed Sheppard. Sheppard, a guy that I'm a big fan of. He plays basketball the right way, shooting above 45% from beyond the arc. He, at one point during the season, was shooting 50-50-90. Yes, Sheppard can do it all. He also averages more than 2 steals a game. I like Sheppard, plays a true point guard role off the bench. Don't think just because he comes off the bench he can't play. He plays more than 30 minutes a game for Calipari's Wildcats. How about Zach Edey, the center from Purdue, heading to Sacramento here at 13? I don't love the fit, and to be honest, I don't love Zach Edey in the NBA. It's going to call it how I see it. I don't really know if he's going to bring anything to the table outside of his size, and I think he dominates the collegiate level because he's got a nasty right hook, nasty wingspan, and height to really dominate at that level, but in the NBA, when guys are just so much more skilled and more athletic, I don't know if Edey really fits the mold of an NBA center. I would not personally take him in the lottery. I wouldn't even consider him a first-round pick. He'd be fringe 25 to 30, early second-round range for me right now. Another guy who was a former person thought of as a number 1 pick, Isaiah Collier, the point guard from USC. The Trojans have just had a disaster of a season. Andy Enfield, Dunk City reunion was just a couple of days ago, but you might be gone. I don't like what he's done at USC. That's a different story for a different day. But Collier can really do a lot of nice things. I like his ability if he goes to a team that has a good culture. There's a lot of development that needs to happen in his game, but he has the raw tools and athleticism to be a good defensive point guard. It's all about if that offense and he could play with the right mental IQ. That's why I want him to go to a good culture and a good organization, but he lands with New Orleans in this mock draft. Stephon Castle, the guard from UConn, 2 Huskies in this little 5-player span going to the Toronto Raptors, their second first-round pick in this mock draft. They get Topic and Castle. Well, that could be a good backcourt duo for the next 5 to 10 years alongside Scotty Barnes. That team has a lot of holes to fix. Could Stephon Castle be someone who really helps the Raptors get back to the mountaintop as they won a title just 4 or 5 years ago? Before we get to the back half of this draft, I want to make sure you guys are hooked up with Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports platform in North America, and you can get a first deposit match up to $100 when you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. It's daily fantasy made easy, and the NBA is finally returning. The All-Star break is over, so make sure you get started today. Why do I love Prize Picks? Well, you see these reasons. The largest DFS app in North America. You get daily specials and discounts. You get that first deposit match up to $100. You can play NFL. Well, not anymore, but you can play NBA, NHL, MLB's just around the corner, and you can even play some UFC. Yes, you heard that correctly. I don't know when McGregor's making his return to the octagon. I know it's soon. I'm a casual. What can I say? But you can take my picks. You can take rapper Meek Mills, comedian Andrew Schultz. There's so many other people's picks you can play. But make sure you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. The first deposit match up to $100. I'm going to put that link in the comments and description of today's video. Get started today. The Miami Heat kickstart the second half of this mock draft with Kevin McCullough Jr., the forward from Kansas. Very similar to Jaime Jaquez Jr., who they selected last season. So Jonathan Givony of ESPN going that route here. We're older prospect, 22, 23 years old, but would be able to come in and impact winning on a day one basis. Intrigued to see where McCullough falls, because it feels like he could really fall closer to the second round if a team like Miami or New York doesn't pick him up in this little area. Devin Carter, the point guard from Providence, really high rise for him in this mock draft. First time I've seen him go in the first round of a NBA mock draft so far, but he can shoot the ball from deep. He just grinds out victories for Providence and Kim English right now in the Big East. Nothing flashy, but someone who could help impact winning on a day one basis. Almost like Marcus Sasser from a year ago coming out of Houston. I don't know how he fell this far, but my guy Dalton Knecht from Tennessee goes 18th toward the Orlando Magic. And I tell you what, this would just be a home run pick in my opinion. They already have Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero. Why not add another forward that can flat out score the rock? And that is what Dalton Knecht can do. Averages near 20 points per game for the Volunteers, which, quick tidbit by the way, season ended today, I'd pick them to win it all in March, cutting it down in April. I like the Volunteers, but it's because of Dalton Knecht's ability to score on all three levels. He comes from Northern Arizona. There was concerns to see if he could translate while playing in a power conference. He absolutely has shown the ability to do so. He's older, but he's experienced, has a good shot from deep, can get to the rim, get to the mid-range. He is a true three-level scorer, which you don't see often in the NBA draft circle. And I'm telling you right now, I'm labeling him as a my guy. If I had to bank it on someone being good and being able to make an impact right away in the NBA, I'm saying it's Dalton Knecht. And I want to know you're my guy. Who is the one person, whether it be in the college scene, whether it be overseas or the G League Ignite, that you believe in your heart without a doubt will make an impact in the NBA? Mine's Dalton Knecht. I want to know yours. Tyler Smith, not producer Smitty here at Chat Sports, but the G League forward going 19th to the New York Knicks in this mock draft. Very raw player, very young player as well, 19 years old. I don't know if he fits the Knicks timeline. I don't love this pick for them. The upside is there, but if I'm New York with multiple first-round picks here, if I'm not trading for a superstar in the offseason, well, I'm kind of cashing in with win-now players, like I mentioned with Kevin McCullough Jr. just a second ago. The freshman from Duke, Jared McCain, going around on TikTok right now for whatever song he created. Going to the Sixers with pick number 20. He just lit it up with 35 points over the weekend. I believe it was against Boston College. McCain was a very highly touted player coming out of high school. He's got a sweet stroke from beyond the arc. Could Jared McCain be someone to keep your eye out for, sneaking into the lottery come late June? Ryan Dunn, the wing from Virginia, going to the Phoenix Suns here. And Ryan Dunn, I think this would be a perfect home for Dunn, by the way. He's got an unbelievably long wingspan, comes from that Tony Bennett system that you can know they will be able to defend. He's lengthy, he's long, he's athletic. He will be able to be a Jared Vanderbilt-esque player coming in right away where he can move his feet, be a defensive stopper, even as a rookie. He just needs to develop more of an offensive game. Working with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, this would be a perfect landing spot for both Phoenix and Dunn. I like this pick. One of my best matches between player and teams in this mock draft. Yves Missi, the center, heading to Milwaukee. Listen, Brook Lopez is getting old. They're going to need some front court depth, and Missi could provide that uber-athletic big man for the Baylor Bears. Can absolutely erase shots inside. I like Missi's game. Bobby Klitman, which is always someone who I find intriguing, going to the Knicks. And I don't love these two picks for New York, by the way. I mentioned someone who would come in and make an immediate impact for that Knicks roster alongside Jalen Brunson and company in the Big Apple. Klitman and Tyler Smith, I don't really know if they do that. Klitman, fun story, went to Wake Forest last year, thought about coming out in the draft, didn't, ended up going overseas, looking to go into the first round this year. Kel'el Ware, the center from Indiana, heading to the New Orleans Pelicans with pick number 24 here. He is very similar to a center that was in last year's NBA draft, going by the name of Noah Clowney. Really lengthy, elite shot blocker, elite athleticism. Ware can absolutely erase shots. Indiana-Purdue was must-see TV watching Ware and Edey match up inside. He also showcases a little bit of a three-point stroke as well. I like Ware's upside, and he's going in the same range, I should say, in the first round as Noah Clowney did last year when he was picked by the Brooklyn Nets. Ware and Clowney, very similar players as we approach this draft process. The Denver Nuggets taking Ihsan Almansa, the forward/center in G League. Listen, the pick here doesn't make a lot of sense because like the Knicks, like the Heat, they need players that can help them win right now, right? I just don't know if Almansa's ready to give winning culture, give winning efforts as we currently sit going into next year. Things can change, opinions can change, but I would think the Nuggets go with more experience with this pick, maybe a little Tyler Kolek action from Marquette being Jamal Murray's backup at that point guard spot. I don't know if Almansa is the best fit for Denver at 25. 5 more picks to go, but I want to make sure you follow me on Twitter at Nic_Rohloff because yours truly, well, I cover the NBA and I cover the NBA draft here for Chat Sports. So if you want the latest surrounding the NBA draft and the latest NBA news and rumors, follow me on Twitter at Nic_Rohloff. I'll have that in the comments, have it in the description as well. Give me a follow. I'll follow you back if you do. 26, the Utah Jazz select Trayvon Brazile, the forward/center from Arkansas. Super athletic. And really when you're shooting for picks in this range of the NBA draft, you're really looking for traits. And Brazile really showcases athleticism. Be curious to see if he's able to round out his game and develop some offense as he progresses throughout the draft process. DJ Wagner going to the Wizards here. And I like the value for Washington. I really do. I just don't know if I'm in love with Wagner's game from the Kentucky Wildcats. He starts, 5-star prospect. I just don't think he's as efficient and is a polished scorer as I'd like him to be, as that highly touted recruit he was. And I also question his ability to make impact plays on the defensive side of the ball. If he was able to showcase a two-way ability, I think I'd have Wagner much higher on my big board, and I think people like ESPN would have them going closer to the lottery. But Wagner falling to 27 Washington, I've compared him to someone last year's draft as well, like I did with Kel'el Ware, to Nick Smith Jr. I think Wagner's got more of a physical build on him, but similar play styles, all offense, no defense. Juan Nunez, the guard forward, very hybrid role player going to Cleveland here from Spain. Intriguing prospect. This is more of a shot in the dark as you see a lot of teams take here in the late first round. Interesting to see where Juan Nunez ends up at the end of this draft process. How about maybe the steal of this mock draft? Johnny Furphy, the forward freshman from Kansas. He has an absolute strap on him. He can shoot the lights out of the basketball. And I tell you what, when I was watching Furphy the other day and watching some of his film, he has one of the most prettiest releases in all of basketball. You see it on screen right now. That ball is released way above his head. It's difficult for opponents to get contests on him because how tall and lengthy he is. They can't contest his shot. And it's so repeatable. Every time he shoots the ball, it looks exactly the same. His shooting form, his size, it reminds me a lot of Trey Murphy, the forward for the New Orleans Pelicans, where he can just rise up over you, get open on any catch-and-shoot scenario, knock down the three ball. Murphy, he has risen quite a bit. I don't think he ends up going late first round when things are said and done. If he comes out of Kansas, comes out of college into the draft, and he's in that name pool in late June, I think he's going to go closer to the lottery pick because his shooting prowess, his size, can really intrigue some teams that are looking for shooting on their squad. Final pick of the NBA mock draft from ESPN. Tyler Kolek, the point guard from Marquette, going to the Boston Celtics at number 30th overall. And it makes sense, right? Like, what do they do with Peyton Pritchard? You know, they also can just use any depth, any experience. And like I've mentioned with other teams, right? You need guys that can contribute winning right away when you're a team like the Celtics who are always competing for a title. Kolek is a 4-year player. He's 22 years old. And he'll be able to provide defense, playmaking, and three-point shooting right off the bat. When you're looking at teams like Miami, Denver, Cleveland, Minnesota that are wanting to win titles right now, you need guys that can win and help you right now, that you don't have to develop and stash on your bench for 2 to 3 seasons before the dividends get paid off. So I like this pick for the Celtics. Kolek wouldn't shock me if he goes a little bit higher, like Hawkeyes did almost, 18th overall by Miami last year. You saw all 30 picks. Now it's time to get out your red pen. Grade ESPN's mock draft for me down below. A, B, C, D, or F. If I had to give my rating, I think I'd give it a B-. I think it was overall pretty solid. Nothing too crazy to hate on. I just think Dalton Connect fell too far. Johnny Furphy should have been pretty higher as well. Just a couple of those guys that I really have my eye out for. Thought they should have went higher than they did. B- though. Solid. Great. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. More NBA draft content coming your way. Nic Rohloff here at Chat Sports. Also daily videos. So make sure you subscribe, lock us in, and I'll see you on the next one.